I think we can all agree that the Call of Duty franchise has been on a massive decline recently. Like, all of these new games that we've got in the past few years are basically unplayable.
Know your fucking place, trash!
Which just makes me so nostalgic for the games that I grew up playing. Like, so many of these COD games were so amazing, but I think one game in particular that I think is a complete utter masterpiece is Black Ops 3. BO3 came out during a pretty weird time, since the last two COD games were hated by just about everyone in the COD community, and started the first ever downfall of the franchise. We were used to getting good game after good game with what's now known as the golden age of Call of Duty, all for it to come crashing down with the piles of dog shit known as Call of Duty Ghosts and Advanced Warfare. No one, and I mean no one, liked these games. It feels like everyone just went back to Black Ops 2 and the other golden era CODs in general, since the community and player counts in those games were still thriving.
Oh, fuck you, faggot.
You're 0-6, nigga! You crying like a bitch!
All of these factors made Black Ops 3 one of the most hyped games, and yet one of the games that people felt most skeptical about. But thankfully, as we all know now, BO3 was a masterpiece overall.
Approved!
I definitely think this game shines the most in zombies, for the sheer amount of maps we got over the years, interesting storyline and Easter eggs, and just the amount of variety in general. Like, I remember loading into Shadows of Evil on launch for the first time, and being so excited and terrified at the same time after hearing this.
You bear the mark. You are cursed.
Shadows was an incredible map to start off BO3 with, especially compared to the colossal flop that was Tranzit in BO2.
Run.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
You don't want to be like this.
Fuck you!
This is disgusting.
Get your ass off
This
my
is
butt!
awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would.
Chill, chill!
The dark and gritty noir aesthetic and jazzy soundtrack on this map was immaculate. Black Ops 3 has what I call the Arkham Knight effect, since both of these games still hold up incredibly well graphically and both came out in 2015, and Shadows of Evil just proves my point even more. Just look at it, man.
It's beautiful!
And I have to remind you that this map had the best wonder weapon of all time, the Apophagant Servant, which was way too overpowered and freaky looking. This game even had swords, and you can turn into a hentai demon. But this was just the beginning, however, as the hype would only increase after every DLC map would come out, with each of the main DLC maps Easter eggs focusing on a specific Primus crew member. The full zombie storyline is a whole rabbit hole that I'm not going to dig myself into because I don't want to make this a video 10 hours long, but just know that these maps were insanely good. The Eisendrache was by far the best though.
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
It had one of the best Easter egg boss fights of all time, and the bows were so good, bro. Don't even get me started. Well, except the firebow. We don't talk about the firebow. And I didn't miss the Panzers either. They can get fucked.
If you'd done your job, known your place, we'd all be fine right now.
Oh shit, here we go again.
He's back! Get over here!
I've got you in my sights.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on!
Right foot
yes!
creep.
Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
The Eisendrache was basically Origins 2.0, which ended up being remastered for Zombies Chronicles, which is by far the best COD DLC map pack of all time, and it's not even close. The fact that this DLC map pack, as well as a ton of other zombies and multiplayer content, was still being added in 2017, a whole 2 years after Black Ops 3 came out, really just proved how much of a masterpiece Treyarch had created. 8 fully remastered maps, making the grand total of maps a whopping 14.
That's pretty good.
Which included all World at War maps coming back, just like in Black Ops 1, most BO1 maps, and Origins from BO2, as well as the other maps from the Season Pass with compelling storylines and fun Easter egg boss fights. And that's not including custom maps on PC, which is just so cursed, like I don't even know what the fuck I'm playing at this point. Double Pack-a-Punch abilities and Gobblegums were also amazing additions to zombies, even though a lot of them like Perkaholic and Alchemical were OP as fuck. They are only optional though, so there's no reason to suck about it if you don't want to use them. But can we just take a moment to witness how visually stunning these maps are in this game?
Plug.
Let me guess. You're home?
It was. And it was beautiful. Titan was like most planets.
Black Ops 3 Zombies at its worst with a map like Zetsubo is still heaps better than anything we got in BO4 and Cold War.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Multiplayer, on the other hand, was and still is somewhat mixed in its reception from the community. Let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way, being the movement. This was the second out of 3 CODs that had exosuits, which when this game was coming out, infuriated everyone.
No, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know if that checks out.
But when I first played the beta back in 2015, I honestly fell in love with the movement. Boots on the ground will always be superior, don't get me wrong, but just how fast-paced and fluent the jetpacks feel in this game is just so satisfying. There was no better feeling than going for a nuclear whilst trying to move around the map as fast and efficiently as possible. Wall running was also added and just gave us infinite possibilities on how to move around the map. The movement just works so much better than the batshit crazy movement we got in Advanced Warfare.
Oh my fucking... Fuck out of here!
Another new addition that I feel like was pretty mixed in its reception were the specialists, which were introduced in this game. There were 10 altogether, and each of them gave you the option to either choose a broken specialist weapon like the Scythe or Tempest, or an ability like Active Camo to go temporarily invisible, and Combat Focus to get more score per kill and assist. I would be lying if I didn't admit that most of these were way too overpowered, or at the very least, annoying to a degree. But this is just more crazy shit that you don't see anymore, whether that's for better or worse. Although if you use Hive, and especially Rejack, you need to get a fucking life, bro. Like, who thought bringing back Last Stand was a good fucking idea, you fucking dumb cunt? The quantity of weapons in this game was also pretty insane. If you include all DLC guns, there's over 80 weapons overall, even if 20 of them were just reskinned melee weapons. And believe it or not, the weapon balancing is actually pretty decent overall, since almost every gun in the game is somewhat good. But my god, do you remember how fucked the Brecci was?
No, please, no more.
And even some of the pay-to-win weapons you could only get in the dogshit supply drops like the MSMC and AN94 from BO2, which were somehow even more broken in BO3.
Leave me alone!
Yeah, unfortunately, this game came out around the time where shit like supply drops, loot boxes, and other crummy microtransactions like that were trending in games, and it affected BO3 so bad. The odds you would actually get a new gun from the supply drops were so low to the point to where you would have to waste so much money on COD points just to have a better chance of getting something, and even that wasn't guaranteed. You'd be more likely to get these cringy Fortnite emotes that predate Fortnite. I know a lot of you beat yourselves up for wasting way too much money on V-Bucks back in the day, but at least you were able to buy the specific cosmetics that you wanted instead of just gambling and getting a slight chance at getting something after wasting hours of grinding the game or wasting money. And so many of my favorite guns in BO3, like the PPSH and the Peacekeeper for example, are DLC guns, which made this game feel very pay to win and pay to have fun to a degree too. But on a more positive note, this game added one of the greatest additions in any COD in probably the last 8 or so years, which was Dark Matter.
Yes! Yes!
which to this day is still the best camo of all time, and you unlocked it by getting gold and diamond for every base gun in the game, which was so rewarding and so good that I unlocked it legitimately twice. A ton of camos in BO3 was so good, but Dark Matter is definitely the best by a mile. Sweating to get Dark Matter, grinding out master prestige levels all the way to level 1000 whilst unlocking prestige emblems from the past Treyarch games, god tier multiplayer maps, both free and DLC, and just the endless amount of game modes and other content constantly being added from 2015 to 2018 made Black Ops 3 infinitely replayable in my eyes, and is honestly one of the best COD multiplayers to go back and play, as long as you don't run into any cheating rat cunts.
Oh my god. Actually go fuck yourself, cunt. Honestly. You're the biggest selfish shit cunt on the fucking planet. Go on private match and use your fucking cheats, you fucking dropkick.
I'm not gonna spend all of eternity going over the dumpster fire that is the Black Ops 3 campaign, but just know that it was the worst COD campaign I've ever played in my entire life. This campaign story and writing is just so ass.
They got caught with their pants down, and they took it hard. Outcome? Train go boom. Outcome. Train go boom. Outcome. Train go boom. Outcome. Train go boom.
It was a huge mess and didn't even follow up from the last 3 Treyarch games that introduced us to so many iconic characters and compelling stories. At least it was co-op, but yet again, so was World at War's campaign, which is still one of the best campaigns in any COD game. This game tries so hard to give you a dark, gritty, futuristic experience that was poorly written, poorly executed, and makes me want to put a brekkie against my skull. Although I think Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is still a masterpiece all around. I mean, there's a reason why people are still buying and playing BO3 today, since it's still the best zombies experience money can buy, especially on PC. Multiplayer was always good too, because of the fast-paced movement, great maps, quantity of weapons, as well as the shit to grind for like Prestige Master Level 1000 and Dark Matter, among many other factors. It was honestly a miracle that this game was as good as it was, since the last 2 CODs before this sucked ass. I mean, you could literally play on a picnic table, cunt. What else would I want in life? Black Ops 3 was funnily enough the longest supported COD game, as it was still getting new multiplayer and zombies maps, guns, gobblegums, community events, and so much more for 3 straight years until Black Ops 4 came out, which just proves even more that Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was, and still is, a masterpiece. Just please, whatever you do, don't play the PS3 or Xbox 360 version of this game.